Welcome in Wednesday night, TNCRadio.live. This is Taillights with Larry and Angie Baum.
Welcome back, everybody. I am Angie.
And I'm Larry. Hello, everybody.
So we are doing a two-part show this week because last week's show went so well. So we're going to reintroduce you guys. We have Matt and Jason with us tonight. They are from the North American Drivers Resource Association. Okay, guys, that's a really long name. So we talked a little bit about the organization. It's kind of a newly formed organization, and we talked a little bit about it last week. I don't know who wants to start it out, but one of you guys want to kind of explain what this organization is?
Jason, go ahead, bud.
The North American Drivers Resource Association. I'll take the blame for that name. So that's my fault. We were on a three-way conversation with Charles, and it just rolled off, and then it went, "Oh, that sounds good." So we went with that. It's an organization of drivers still out here doing driver stuff and just trying to represent the American truck driver from the boots on the ground aspect of it. We feel that corporate truck driving is represented by other organizations. We feel that policymakers are representing by other organizations, and that the real voice out here is the American truck driver, and they're the ones that need to be heard. And that's kind of how the whole thing got started. Would you agree, Matt?
Yeah.
I couldn't have put it any better way, really.
Yeah, I agree too. And that was one of the things we kind of touched on last week was, you know, over the years, we've seen a lot of organizations come and go and convoys come and go, and they don't seem to make much progress. But I think what's unique and different about your organization, and Larry and I are a part of it, is the roundtable. Can you kind of explain a little bit about that? What sets this organization apart from any of the others we've ever seen?
Okay, well, we all know the legend of King Arthur and the Round Table. What a lot of people, and I've had this conversation with one of our own members, in fact, what we got to realize is when King Arthur took off his crown and sat down at the round table, he didn't lower himself to his knights. When he sat down and took his crown off and he sat down at the table, he raised his knights to his level. And he understood that every one of those knights that sat at that round table loved Camelot just as much as he did. So there was a camaraderie there. There was an agreement that whatever they did as the Knights of the Round Table, they were doing for the benefit of Camelot. Now, we're in the same situation right now. What we have is a lot of knights on the road, but we're separated. We're divided. We're not unified, but we all have our same grievances. So what we did was applied the round table to the organization. There's no one man at the top and everybody else is scattered all the way from the top to the bottom. Issues don't go from top to bottom, back up the ladder, get approved, come back down, get decided on, get moved back up. What we have is a round table of truck drivers from every nationality and every background, female and male alike, that are ingredients that we love and have a passion for our industry. And if we don't step forward and be the voice, then we're going to lose the one thing that we love about being out here on the open road. We're going to lose that ability to be truckers. And that's what these people are. These people are the knights of the road, and they've all stepped forward to fight for what they love about, and that's their job.
One of the things I loved, we had a meeting this Saturday, and one of the things that I thought was so smart is you guys were still trying to fill some of the round table seats, and we were kind of going around discussing. And one of the things I loved about it was that, you know, you guys wanted to make sure that we tried to represent everybody, every ethnicity, and that we tried to get, you know, some bilingual people in here so that everybody felt included and that it was an inclusive group.
Absolutely. We have representatives from Canada. We have representatives from Mexico. We have representatives from the United States. We have representatives from Eastern Indian overseas. We now have a gentleman who is now part of the group who has driven tractor trailer in 3 different continents, who is French and American. We have a very, very diverse group of people that range in all kinds of nationalities, which is absolutely amazing. So we don't have just North America covered. We have Europe as well now.
If I could add something to that, not only do we have every ethnicity covered, but truckers lived a stereotype back in the 70s that we were a different class of citizen and they had kind of a bad rap. And as trucking has progressed throughout the years, we have found people from corporate America that have decided to walk away from that branch of life and just want to be truck drivers. We have husband and wife teams that live out here on the road. You and Larry are a classic example of that. Bob and Deborah are an example of that. And the talent that the trucking industry has now is unbelievable. We have people that used to be lawyers, executives, all walks of life that have decided that they want to get in and travel the open road and experience that lifestyle. And we're very fortunate to have some of those people not only contacting us because of their interest, but because they believe in what we're standing for. And that's a very humbling and a blessing to the industry, because the industry is progressing also. It isn't the West Coast turnaround 2-day thing anymore. I remember I got my first trucking job at 19 cents a mile, and I'm almost up to, I make 91 cents a mile now. Trucking has changed drastically over the course of the years, and we need all walks of life to be represented and a part of it. So it's a totally different industry now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I did want to mention that if anybody is interested in learning more about the organization, you can visit them on Facebook. It is NARDA. And also launching next Monday is, you guys got a website coming out. It's going to be NADRA2022.com. So that'll be the new website, and that should be up on Monday. So if people want to learn more about how they can get involved and how they can join the membership, they can go there as well.
Absolutely. I think we're very excited about that. That is a huge step for our organization. We're going to be able to get a lot more out there to all of those that are following along, so that they can keep up with us. We're all very excited about it.
Absolutely. Now, I know a lot of, I've noticed on TikTok, and Jason, I think you've been handling it awesome, that there are some people that have been naysayers, and they're like, oh, we've seen this before where groups have formed and then nothing happens. How are you guys different? And I think one of the things that I love the most is the reply of just give us 6 months, which I think is awesome, because so many people are skeptical. Do you want to touch on that?
Sure. A classic example of that just happened this morning. I got on my TikTok and I was going through it, and I had saw that a person that was very interested in our organization said that he was going to kind of step back because he felt that there was a glitch in the Facebook page or something like that, and he tried to make a post and it looked like we had removed him, which we don't remove anybody or block anybody from our organization. Everybody is welcome, good comments and bad. But I called him on the phone. I went through the Facebook page. I found his phone number. I called him on the phone, and Matt and I had almost a 2-hour conversation with him today, explaining to him just exactly what we're all about. And we kind of reeled it back in. And that's the one thing that I don't know if other organizations are doing, but I'll call you right on the phone and have a conversation with you. I feel that if you're misinformed, at least give me the opportunity to get the facts straight. We all know that if you whisper in someone's ear at the beginning of the table and go all the way around the table, by the time it gets back to the head of the table, the story's already changed. And we don't want that to happen. We're not out here asking for money. We're out here trying to develop programs that each and every one of us are going through on a daily basis. We're living it, breathing it. 2:00 in the morning, you might be at the fuel island at some pilot or Flying J or Love's anywhere in the country, and there's going to be one of our team members right there next to you. And that's part of it. We gain our credibility by boots on the ground, by living and eating and breathing the same food and driving the same kind of trucks that y'all are driving. And we're just truckers, poor truckers, all about trucking.
Absolutely. We're going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to we discussed a little bit about it last week, about 10,000 trucks to Washington, D.C. And I'm not going to give the spoiler away, but it's not what you guys think. So sit back and we'll be back in just a few minutes with Taillights with the Baums.
This blog is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Truckers Against Trafficking can help fight modern-day slavery. Human trafficking is a real and frightening issue in the United States. It's a crime that forcefully exploits women, men, and children. Human trafficking involves transporting a person into a situation of exploitation, which can include forced labor, marriage, or prostitution. The term exploitation in this sense is commonly referred to as modern slavery. At this time, it's estimated that there are 20 to 40 million human trafficking victims internationally. According to the ACLU, the United States Department of State estimates that 14 to 17,000 people are trafficked into the United States each year. Truckers Against Trafficking exists to educate, equip, empower, and mobilize members of the trucking, bus, and energy industries to combat human trafficking. Truckers Against Trafficking goals: saturate trucking and related industries with TAT materials. Partner with law enforcement and government agencies to facilitate the investigation of human trafficking. Marshal the resources of partners to combat this crime. The Truckers Network proudly sponsors Truckers Against Trafficking and their efforts to fight against this heinous crime that's affecting hundreds of thousands of Americans each year. How truckers can help. Training video. Watch Truckers Against Trafficking's free training video and take the short quiz through their online portal. This will register you as an official TAT trained, TAT certified driver. Know the red flags. Download the Truckers Against Trafficking app and request a wallet card and window decal at tat.truckers@gmail.com. Share Truckers Against Trafficking's training with others in person and through social media. How trucking companies, schools can help. Training video. Share Truckers Against Trafficking's free training video with your drivers. Request a digital file of your video or physical DVD from tat.truckers@gmail.com. Know the red flags. Tell your drivers to download the Truckers Against Trafficking app and or request wallet cards for your drivers from tat.truckers@gmail.com. Register your company as trained to reflect your impact in the fight against trafficking and encourage others to do the same. This info blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
That's right. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I'm doing good. I went in for a full physical yesterday, requirement by my insurance company, and the doctor was like, "Wow, you're doing good." So I was glad. I was very happy to hear that.
Well, good. Yeah.
Yeah. Lost some weight. Blood looked good. So all good.
Yeah, fantastic. I also had a doctor appointment yesterday and went in and, it was one of those appointments, bend over and cough and all that kind of worst dentist ever, I'm telling you. Jamie, how are we looking out there on traffic? I think you had some updates for us while we were on break this week.
For the latest in traffic, weather, and information, catch the Morning Grind weekdays on tncradio.live.
I'm Hope Savara. Join us on tncradio.live at 7 p.m. Eastern with Building Strong Minds with your host, Dr. Christopher Cortman.
Welcome back, tncradio.live. This is Taillights, and now here's your host, Angie Baum.
Welcome back, everybody. everybody. So last week we were talking a little bit about 10,000 trucks to Washington, D.C. And this is a really brilliant idea. But I know that when I mentioned it, I'm sure the first thing everybody thought of was, oh, Lord, here's another organization trying to bring 10,000 semi-trucks to Washington, D.C. That is not what we're trying to do. So who wants to tackle this one?
You want me to take this, Jason?
Go ahead.
Okay, 10,000 trucks was actually a combined idea from several of us. It's not what you think. There's not going to be a slow roll into Washington, D.C. It's definitely not going to be a convoy into D.C. because if we try to show up with 10,000 trucks into Washington, D.C., there's probably going to be 8 Panther tanks sitting on the highway waiting for us. So how do you make an impact and do something that several have tried at and get trucks into DC? Well, the way you do it is you get everybody together and you take 10,000 toy trucks and send them to the very doorstep of the Secretary of the Department of Transportation. Now, by doing that, you're gaining a lot of different things. First of all, any package that's sent to any safe package, let me make that very clear. This is a safe package that's sent to a office building of that sort has to be recorded into a public log. What they received, how many they received of it, things of that sort. Now, that's an accountability thing. So by sending the toys in there, not only are we kind of breaking the record for the amount of trucks that have ever been in DC at one point in time, but we're also attaching, statements about truck driving. Every truck driver or family member or loved one that's supporting their truck driver can do the same thing. Attach a little statement, no to AB5, yes to additional parking, things of that sort that are based around the trucking industry, things that, the over regulations that we're trying to let them know that we're not very happy about. And at the same time, not only is every truck driver giving themselves something to speak about and hearing their voice, we can also take it a step farther and provide a child in that area a toy for Christmas. And we all know how Christmas is looking for a lot of families this year. By simply putting a secondary note on there, please donate to Toys for Tots in the DC metro area or to the military families in that area, we are providing not only a voice to voice our concerns about what is going on with the overregulations, but we're also acknowledging that the trucking community acknowledges that people are hurting this year, and we can actually help them by providing some toys for their children to put under that Christmas tree. So it's a benefit in both ways. Now, we are holding accountability into play here. We are not going to just be sending trucks to DC and cross our fingers and hope that everything's going to go well and that they're going to do the right thing. We're also, on December 1st, we have several in our group that will be writing a news release and making sure that their press release and making sure they're given out to local stations in the DC area to warn them ahead of time of what's coming their direction so that they personally can get out there and say, hey, listen, the truck drivers are trying to voice themselves. Not only are they trying to give themselves a voice and show you that they're coming together, but these truck drivers are standing up and they're also helping the Toys for Tots program. That will hold that Department of Transportation accountable to make sure that those vehicles those toys are gotten to where they need to be before Christmas. So it's a learning process. It's a step toward unity. It's a teaching moment, but it's also a very giving moment. And everybody knows if you're a truck driver and you go into a truck stop and you see that Toys for Tots thing or a donation for Toys for Tots, there are very few of us that walk away from that without giving. Very, very few of us. We are all about the kids out here. We care about them. We love them to death. A lot of us have children of our own. They're important. So we get to make a statement, and as well, we can give back to the community.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
I don't think that some people that are out of touch with the industry understand what a big truck does to a little kid. And I can relate to that because I grew up in the business. And when my dad would come home and I'd get to climb up in the truck and help him clean his stuff out from the 8 or 10 days that he was gone, the first thing we all want to do is we want to honk the horn. That's where the arm pump come from.
Yes.
And every time one of us to this day sees a kid or even an adult sticking their arm out the window, giving us the arm pump symbol or sign, we all give a smile and we all pull that cord. Every one of us still do it. And the next thing you want to do is maybe not catch your dad catching you trying to talk on the CB. You just wanted to see if someone could hear you and they'd answer you back. And, that's the future of trucking, is to keep those memories alive and to make kids want to maybe drive a truck again someday. Plus, it's a team building exercise within our organization. It's a team building exercise for the industry. And being that we got 11 hours a day to drive down the road, we all know that us truck drivers have quite the sense of humor at sometimes. So it's also our way of poking the bear without really poking the bear in DC. Now, we have assembled a media team within our organization that, we contacted Fox 5 News in DC last night and just kind of touched base with them about how they felt about this whole organization. We let them know we're not asking for permission. They're coming. So get ready. And, this is going to be fun, and there's no harm, no foul. And some kid at the end of the day is going to get a really cool present for Christmas.
Absolutely. We've already started buying ours. And I did want to mention just a couple of things. Excuse me, Matt, in a minute, I'm going to have you and Jason give out your TikTok information because you guys have got some really informative videos out there. So do Larry and I, explaining more about this 10,000 trucks to DC and also more about the organization. But one of the things I wanted to mention is you guys would like everybody to hold off and mail those until, what was the dates again? I'm sorry, December 1st to the 4th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then the other thing is Toys for Tots had asked us to let everybody know, do not wrap the trucks, just leave them unwrapped. You can put your notes on there. And also don't forget to put a sticky note on there saying for them to please donate to Toys for Tots in the Washington, D.C. area. So along with your sticky note of what you want to, discuss as far as in Washington, don't forget the sticky note saying to donate to Toys for Tots.
Right. Now, the best way we've been trying to get it out there, if you're worried about your sticky note falling off, put it on the truck and then wrap it in clear plastic wrap or bubble wrap. That way your sticky note stays on the truck. It'll be very well seen, and it'll actually be under the wrapping. It'd be just another way to make sure that your notes are not falling off in the mail.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think it's a great idea because, like you said, it's going to help out a lot of kids. And we know the last 2 years with everything that's gone on with COVID that everybody's a little strapped this year. And I think that this is a fun way. And one of the things I had mentioned in one of my videos, and it's, right now, within the last 2 weeks, we just started seeing all the toys being put out in the toy trucks or in the truck stops. So, every time you guys fuel and you get those points, you guys can use those points to buy some trucks.
Yeah, it won't. If you do it properly, it won't cost you a dime, with the exception of shipping and handling. We've got FedEx out there. We've got UPS. We've got USPS. There's a lot of different ways that you don't have to spend a lot of money in order to make your point heard. Now, we have several, myself included, that are going to be sending a dozen or more. Some are very ecstatic about this, and I know one gentleman that's in our group that's going to be sending 20 trucks. This is a way for truck drivers to find a new ground to unify over, have a story to talk about during lunch or dinner or breakfast if you're sitting at the truck stop. It's a fun story to be able to tell, and it'll make your heart feel good in the end too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I did also want to mention, like I had mentioned earlier, you guys have some really great TikTok videos out there. Matt, I'm going to let you go first, and then Jason, you can go next. But go ahead and share your information, because I want to make sure everybody can find you so that they can, try to get the best information they can about the organization.
Well, you can find me at Trucker Matt K 74.2 on TikTok. That's the best way to find me. That's everything about the program that Jason and I and Charles have been building from very get-go, even before NADRA was around. So that's where you can find me.
And I'm at Jason Vind 2021 on TikTok.
And I did also want to mention Matt's got some really good videos posted at the top of his profile that actually show you step by step, if you're interested in sending the trucks to DC, exactly how we want you to go about doing it. And he's got 2 videos. It's a 2-parter. So it's very informative, very easy. And he's even got the address posted there for you so that you can join us and send trucks. And remember, they can be trucks of any sizes. We don't care. They could be Matchbox or they could be big, whatever trucks you want to send. The point is, we just want to make a difference in some kids' lives, and also as truckers get our voices heard.
That's correct. Just don't mind one video, part 2 of that. I did wrap one. I got a little overexcited before we actually spoke to Toys for Tots. We do need to keep them in clear paper. They are clear wrapping so that they can distribute how they need necessary. They would rather you not wrap it as a Christmas gift.
Absolutely. And I think another good point, and I'm not sure I can't remember which one of you guys said that, but another good point is when you're putting those sticky notes on, make sure that you're keeping it pertinent to something in the trucking industry. We don't want to ruffle feathers and we don't want to make them upset, but we want to let them know that these are our concerns that as truckers we are concerned about, but we certainly don't want to make enemies.
That's correct.
All right, guys, just a reminder, you guys can find more about the NADRA on Facebook. They have a great Facebook group. And next week on Monday, they're going to have their website up. It's going to be the NADRA2022.com, and that should be up and running by next Monday. So if you guys want to find out how you can become part of the organization and become a member, you can go there to visit. And we'll be back in just a few minutes to speak more with Matt and Jason.
What have you done today to make trucking better for tomorrow? NADRA2022.com. That's NADRA2022.com. An organization built and managed by drivers for drivers. The purpose of the organization is to create content to educate, inform, inspire, and unite the industry. At NADRA, our primary focus is protecting jobs and promoting safety and unity. We are a trade association that represents the single trucker owner-operator, small fleets, and the company driver. We know that by working together, we will drastically improve our industry. We tackle the issues that impact the driver. The NADRA is your voice at the table in DC, state, and local governments. We do the same job you do every day. Learn more at NADRA2022.com or check out tncradio.live or the tncradio.live app. Welcome back, tncradio.live. This is Taillights with the Baums.
Welcome back, everybody. We've been sitting here talking with Matt and Jason, and they are from the NADRA. And so we were talking a little bit about the website that's going to be up and running on Monday. And again, the website address is going to be the NADRA2022.com. And did you want to explain a little bit, Jason, about the membership at the beginning of this?
Yeah, when the website goes live on Monday, we're going to be offering an introductory membership. It'll be free of charge. It'll also be updated very, very often as far as some of the programs that we're looking into starting, what we're developing, and some of the ones that are about to take place, which at this time I'm going to go ahead and put a teaser out there, but we are developing a national hotline for commercial drivers that absolutely is going to be a hit, a home run all the way. We've been getting a lot of feedback. I've gotten personal calls from drivers all over the country that say in all the years that they've been out here, they can't believe that one hasn't been developed, and hasn't been out here for us. And if you've been out here for any length of time, I've been going out here since 1992 is when I started driving. So I've got a few years under my belt. There are times when you just want to pick up and talk to somebody in the middle of the night. Maybe you need to just stay awake. Maybe you're going through some things at home and you need to talk to a stranger rather than someone that's inside your circle. Maybe you need to get that unbiased opinion. And so we're going to provide that service. We are probably 70 to 80% having that completely developed. So that's going to be, and that again was something that came up in one of our roundtable discussions in our very first meeting. And the feedback that we're getting about that is just incredible. So we're proud to announce that is going to happen, and that's going to be up and running shortly after the website is up. We think we got a catchy name for it, so everybody will be able to remember it. And anything you want to add to that, Matt?
We just remember that a lot of us out here, we have a lot of new teams that are out on the road now, a lot of husband and wife, a lot of boyfriend and girlfriend, and whatever your preference is out here. But there's a lot more that are out here on these roads at night, during the day, afternoons, early mornings, that are out here for weeks and months at a time sometimes. And every one of us suffers. Every one of us hits that lonely spot. Every one of us hits that little bit of depression. And when this was brought to our attention, in fact, it was one of our own, Miles Poole, who brought this up and made this a true concern and put it at the top of our list. We started to realize that, like Jason was saying, it's never been done. We have a lot of drivers who have not made it home over the last decades due to depression, due to loneliness. And if we can fix anything, if we can do anything good for our own community, we believe this will be a huge stepping stone for not just for the organization, but to be of help and do something amazing for the community that's never been done.
Well, see, we had just talked about that on the show here a couple weeks ago, and I was saying, that this is probably the hardest time of year for a lot of truckers, starting in November and going through January, because so many of us, for example, Larry and I are going to be working through Thanksgiving, so we don't get to go home and see family. And so a lot of times when truckers are in that predicament, or say, like a lot of us, we're having financial problems and it's Christmas is coming up and, oh God, where am I going to get the money to pay for those bills? All those things. This is the hardest year for truckers, these next 3 months. And so it's nice to have a hotline like this where they can not be judged, not have to worry about, oh gosh, this person's going to judge me, and have just a fellow trucker to talk to.
Right. We all know what we go through out here. A lot of people, Canada, United States, Mexico, a lot that are outside our community really don't understand what the truck driver out here on the road really goes through. Our men and women, what they face. A lot of us don't see our kids grow up the way a normal family does. We're out here providing. It's how we provide. It's what we know best how to provide. But they suffer. Everybody goes through it. Don't care how strong you are. You find that breaking point, and when you find that breaking point at 12 a.m. in the morning, and you need to reach out, strong you are. You find that breaking. You just start to understand that you don't. At that point, you need somebody. Nobody's there. This is the service that we're trying to provide now.
Now, I did want to also talk about, there's some other topics that we're wanting to handle. Jason, did you kind of want to talk about some of the other top topics we're wanting to deal with besides the hotline?
Well, some of the stuff that we're tossing around, of course, we've touched base with it a little bit, is the broker transparency issue. Again, the parking issue is a very big one. Company driver, owner, operator, it don't matter what category you fit in there. At 9:00 at night, it almost comes down to an argument and a fist fight nowadays to find parking. Some of the truck stops have even went to the point now where they charge to park. And even though we can't control private businesses like that, they have the right to do whatever they want to do. We should still not be sleeping on the side of the road. And now some states are starting to even write us tickets for that. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Matt has a great take on this about the safety issue, but I mean, if safety was such a concern of other organizations that represent us, why hasn't this been addressed? It's been 10 years. Trucking's not getting smaller; it's getting bigger, and there's more trucks out here now than there ever has been. And we can't find a place to lay down, but yet we're supposed to find a place to lay down for 10 hours. It's kind of a chasing your tail situation. We all have personal issues going. Mine is a big thing with healthcare. Why is healthcare so expensive for the independent owner operator or the 1099 employee, or for the small fleet owner that can't go out and purchase a healthcare plan for his employees, but yet they run a great operation, but they just can't keep drivers because of the healthcare? We would like to come up with a healthcare program that doesn't trap a driver with any certain company, that their healthcare plan can follow them if they would decide that they find a better opportunity elsewhere. And we have a team of people working on that. The AB5 issue, which doesn't really apply to me, but applies to a couple of other people in our group very extensively, and they're digging deep into that, and again, our fight with DC, our fight with the people that make these rules isn't going to be circling the Beltway. We're going to court. That's what we're going to do. We're going to fight them on their battleground. And that's really all I can say to that, because there's a whole process involved in doing that. And until we figure out just exactly what that process is, that's going to be a work in progress for us. But that's the difference between us. We're going to take it to them on their level. And we're going to hire a team of people that's going to represent us fairly to get that done.
And we got to remember, too, I hope I don't mind me adding in, Jason, that two of the most important things that's happening right now in the trucking industry that a lot of people aren't aware of is we have speed limiters that the final ruling is supposed to be in June. And we have a electronic chip that actually a lot of people didn't realize. The comment section for that actually ended this past Tuesday. I wasn't even made aware of it until, in fact, yesterday, that the electronic chip is actually being forced into play. Now, anybody that doesn't know what the electronic chip is, what this is going to be is on the exterior of your vehicle, so that a DOT officer, while you're in motion, that electronic chip will have your ELDs on it, will have your personal information on it, will have your history as a truck driver on it, will have all your drug examinations and things. It will have all that information. So a DOT officer, really all they have to do is pull up and, read that electronic chip, and they will actually be able to do what they're calling a mobile DOT inspection on you. What a lot of people don't understand is that that comment section has already ended. They have moved it so quickly and so fast that a lot of us weren't even aware that the comment section was out there for this. And nobody has made us aware. We have the speed limiter final ruling that's supposed to be somewhere around June, with very few of us out here actually know what that speed limiter regulation really is or what's contained in it. A lot of it is just anger based. We ain't doing this. We don't want this. But nobody really knows the extent. The speed limiter regulation that I personally printed off is 36 pages long.
Hey,
we
Matt,
don't
we're
know.
We're going to take just a quick break here. When we come back, I do want you to talk more about that because it is an important topic that everybody in the industry is going to be affected by as of June of next year. So everybody just stay tuned. We'll be right back with Matt and Jason. You're listening to Taillights with the Baums.
As a professional driver, the engineers at Front Lane know that you remain focused on the road regardless of weather and traffic conditions. That's not always true of the drivers behind you. Every 9 minutes, another commercial vehicle is rear-ended by a driver failing to control their speed. And guess who gets the blame? When you have to brake quickly, Tailbone illuminates a series of bright red LED lights that allow the driver behind you to react up to 50% faster. Using amazing accelerometer technology and a battery that will last for years, Tailbone meets the standard set by the NHTSA and the FMCSA. Learn more by visiting www.frontlane.com/tailbone. That's www.frontlane.com/tailbone. Approved in all 50 states. It's Tailbone by Front Lane.
This info blog on tncradio.live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. 4 things truck drivers need to know about motor truck cargo insurance. Motor truck cargo legal liability insurance, also referred to as cargo insurance, covers the loss or damage to the freight you're hauling. When hauling cargo, there's always a risk that it could be damaged or stolen. While there are no legal requirements to have cargo insurance, it is highly recommended to better protect yourself and the goods you're hauling. What is cargo insurance? Cargo insurance protects you from financial loss if the freight you're hauling gets damaged or lost. In the event of an accident, cargo insurance pays for the amount you're insured for only if the event is covered. Cargo damage resulting from collision, accidents, fire, and spoilage are examples of covered events in most cargo policies. Benefits of cargo insurance. When hauling cargo, someone's paying you to safely deliver someone's assets from point A to point B. The main benefit of motor truck cargo insurance is that you reduce financial loss if the cargo you're hauling gets damaged. Also, purchasing cargo insurance gives you a peace of mind knowing that you're covered if your cargo gets damaged. How is cargo premium determined? The motor truck cargo rate depends on the type of cargo you're hauling. The classifications include dry van freight, flatbed freight, refrigerated freight or reefer, autos, household goods mover, and hazmat. As there are many different cargo classifications for a motor carrier, discuss with your agent the type of freight you intend on hauling. Insurance carriers generally classify motor carriers with the highest commodities hauled. So even if you only intend to haul autos 5% of the time and 95% of the time flatbed freight, your premium will be based on an auto hauler. This is why it's so important to talk with your agent about everything you'll be hauling. This ensures that the policy is written the correct way and excludes nothing that you intend to haul. Nobody wants to be stuck with a cargo claim commodity that's not covered under their policy. Please note that the coverages, limits, and explanations of coverages mentioned here can differ with every motor truck cargo policy depending on the type of cargo hauled and carrier requirements. Please discuss what is included and what can be added on or endorsed to your policy or quote with your current agent. What limits are you required to carry? There are many factors that determine the cargo limit a motor carrier should carry. Unlike commercial auto liability, generally the shipper who owns the freight will provide you with a minimum limit required to haul a load for them, not the federal government. The standard limit of cargo insurance for general freight is $100,000, but this limit can differ. For example, if a carrier is an auto hauler, his cargo limit could be anywhere from $150,000 to $1 million depending on the number of autos hauled and the auto's conditions. This info blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
Catch Landline Now every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, along with an encore presentation weekdays at noon, right here on tncradio.live.
I'm Shelley Johnson with Kathy Tuccaro. You can hear us Tuesdays on TNCRadio.live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Women Road Warriors. And don't miss Steve Summers' Overnight Drive right here on TNCRadio.live. Weeknights, midnight to 5 a.m. Eastern. Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Welcome back, TNCRadio.live. It's Wednesday night. That means it's time for Taillights. And here's Larry and Angie Baum.
Welcome back, everybody. We've been talking this hour with Matt and Jason from the NADRA. And before we go any further, I just want to remind everybody, for more information on the NADRA, you can visit their Facebook group to get more information. And also, next Monday, their website will be up, and it is going to be the NADRA2022.com. So, Matt, we were talking a little bit before the break about the new speed limiter rule that's going to go into effect next June that we really don't know a whole lot about, but we know it's going to affect all of us. So I'll let you talk a little bit more about that.
Well, we need to understand what everybody in the trucking community needs to understand is if you're not moving steady with the flow of traffic, you're impeding it. This speed limiter, and we don't know all of the ins and outs of it yet, Angie, so there's still research and understanding to be done about it. But if you have normal traffic moving at a pace of 65 or 70 miles an hour, and if they pass this at 60 miles an hour, you're going to have trucks trying to pass one another between 60 and 61 miles an hour because they're going to have their foot heavy on the gas to get where they got to go. That's going to create a lot more problems. You're going to see a higher increase in road rage. You're going to see more accidents. That's a given fact. The speed limiters are not going to decrease accidents. They're going to increase accidents. Now, it may lower fatalities, but that's not proven either. We have no absolute proof of this. Now, the new speed limiter, the final rule is supposed to be in June. The NADRA, after the holidays, is going to be diving into the speed limiter big time. We're going to be looking at every word they've written inside this regulation. We're going to be looking for loopholes. We're going to be looking for arguments. We're going to be looking for anything that we can find to come back at the FMCSA and DOT that are proven facts that we can get this thrown out, because it's not going to be a good thing, not only for the trucks, but it's not going to be good for the motoring public. It's actually going to cause more stress and more grief than it actually is saying it's not going to. Not to boot, we also have this new regulation where they want to implement this tag ID system, which is basically an electronic chip I was talking about earlier before we went to break. It has been tested. Jason informed me that they've been testing it in New York. Now, I don't have absolute evidence of that. I will look that up. I will make sure that we are clear on that. But this is not going to be any different. If you're texting and driving, you're distracted from the road. If a DOT officer is doing a moving, rolling DOT inspection on your rig, and he's trying to read that electronic tag, and he's looking at his laptop, following behind it, whether it be a safe distance or not, that is distracted driving. If something happens in front of that truck and that tractor trailer has to come to a screeching halt, that is not going to give that, whoever that DOT officer is, enough time to properly brake and avoid an accident. So it's going to create more of an accident. This electronic ID idea needs to be tossed out, just like the speed limiter idea needs to be tossed out. There is more than enough evidence. We just need to investigate it further, have the complete knowledge of it, find the loopholes, and be able to bring it to the trucking community and say, listen, here's the facts. Here's our facts. This is what we're going to be going after. And then we need to work with such people like OIDA and other trucking associations and come together as a trucking industry and stand up and say, this is not going to happen.
Absolutely. We've only got a few minutes left, but I want to encourage everybody. As you guys heard last week, Larry and I did join the roundtable of the NADRA. We totally believe in it. We believe in Matt, Charles, and Jason, and everybody else that's joined the team. For the longest time, we've wanted to make changes in the trucking industry. A lot of us don't have a voice. Now we are forming a voice and an association to do that. Now we just need other truckers to join us and help make our voice louder.
Absolutely. It's all about unity. We need to, and we're using 10,000 toy trucks to DC as a positive unity. We need to get away from the negativity. We need to get away from the separation and the division inside the industry, and we need to start coming back together. It's just a matter of turning a frown upside down and thinking a different way. It's not a hard thing to do, but we have a lot of minds that we need to change. And there's a lot that we need to keep moving forward to for positivity. If we can keep the positivity rolling, I think we can make some drastic changes.
Absolutely. I want to thank you guys so much for being on the show. And just a quick reminder, you guys can follow Larry and I on TikTok, Married the number 2, The Road, also on Facebook. And you can follow us live streaming on Facebook at The Trucker's View. And we'll be back here next Wednesday with Larry and myself at 7 p.m. Central with Taillights from the Baums. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And please don't forget to visit the NADRA on Facebook so you can get more information and see how you can join as well. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Matthew Kilmer out of Independence, Missouri, a proud member of the NADRA.
Hello, my name is Candace. I am from Texas. I am an NADRA council member.
Hi, my name is Connie. I'm an NADRA council member.
Hey everybody, this is Eric from Bradenton, Florida. I'm an NADRA council member.
Hello, I'm Bob Murphy.
And I'm Deborah Murphy. We're part of the NADRA.
We're sending 10,000 toy trucks to Washington, D.C. to send a message of unity amongst truck drivers.
And the great thing is that Washington, D.C. can donate these toy trucks to the Toys for Tots for children.
Hey guys, this is Angie from Taillights with the Baums. I am also a NADRA council member. 10,000 toy trucks to DC is in full swing, but we need your help. Please go to NADRA2022.com. That's NADRA2022.com for more information on how you can support us today.
Hey, this is Heath Sampe coming at you for the North American Drivers Resource Association. Our campaign for the 10,000 toy trucks in D.C. is in full swing. And this is a reminder, if you have not gotten your toy truck yet, now is the time to do it. Let's send a strong message to D.C. We want our voices to be heard and them to be held accountable, all while helping the underprivileged kids in the D.C. area for this Christmas, by having them donate all toy trucks to Toys for Tots. The address is Department of Transportation, 1200 New Jersey Avenue, Washington, D.C., 20590.
For more information, go to NADRA2022.com. That's NADRA2022.com.